What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We're going to be checking out a high carb, low fat creator called Sweet Like Sugar. And the video title is All Raw Food Diet or Raw to 4. Which one is superior? So go subscribe. I'm a big fan of anyone trying to push the high carb, low fat message. So yeah, let's hit it.
Starch solution. And these are, specifically, I'm directing this towards like high carb.
Let me go back a bit here. And start that.
Hey guys, Jamie here. So today I wanted to talk about an all raw diet versus like a raw till 4 specifically. I'm not going to get into the starch solution because in my mind, starch solution. And these are, specifically, I'm directing this towards like high carb, low fat lifestyles. And I'm not talking about starch solution because I don't think it really stands up to either of these diets, in my opinion.
She's like, it's not even in the same league. It's not even in the conversation, etc. It's like you can't hang. But starch solution is a good transition off animal products, and you can still get good results, high carb, low fat.
So yeah, I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm talking about raw versus high raw. So I'm just going to talk about, the benefits and downfalls of both. Okay. So I'm going to start off with raw. What is great about raw? Well, raw, in my opinion, is what God intended. Okay.
You could just end the video there. It's like nothing else to say. Millions and millions of species, millions and millions of years without a pot, pan, stove, tractor to dictate to them what is food. So it's the most heavenly divine food that we can, or way of eating that we can eat.
It is what God intended. I don't know if there's much arguing that, right? Now, we live in a modern world that's different from, like years and years ago. So that has to come into play. But what God intended 100%, I think, was to be raw, okay? Fruit and honey, in my opinion, and
so it still is what nature, God, the universe intended for every species. And to just mention honey there, I don't mess with honey because we exploit bees for honey. They are working super hard for it, regurgitating it back and forth, mixing all their stomach acids and juices and stuff like that with it. They clip the queen bee's wings so that she doesn't fly away. And they use honey to feed their young, to coat their hives for a substance that's sweet. And people say it's got all these benefits, etc. There are literally thousands of edible plants, fruits, vegetables, dates, agave, maple syrup, all these different things that we can get both sweetness and also on the vegetable side, like vitamins and minerals. I don't think we need honey, but
research is God's gift to human beings. Fruit is more than what we know. Okay, what it does to the human body, the human mind, the human soul, like your soul, like people don't even fully understand. Fruit is important for consciousness. We are human beings, which separates us from all other species. Okay, we are human beings, which means we have consciousness that other species don't have. Okay, this is a gift. It can seem like a curse, but it is a gift. And fruit, eating fruit is directly related to your level of consciousness.
It's like the most high vibrational food that you can consume. Direct sun rays, photosynthesis, creating the fruit, eating that, the high vibration, the glucose, the vitamins, the minerals, the fact that it's actually cleansing the stomach, cleansing the bowels, cleansing the cells, etc. You can't get any higher.
And your soul. So, like without a doubt, from the books I've read, what I feel, my experience in my own mind, body, and soul when I eat fruit, to me it's undeniable. I don't even care about studies at this point, but from books that I've read, it just confirms what I've already felt within myself eating fruit. It is important for consciousness and for the survival of our species, okay?
Yeah, weird stuff starts to happen as well whenever you eat like high fruit, high raw, going like fully raw days, fruits and greens. You start to feel more synchronicity. You start to feel like things are going in your favor. Your energy's through the roof. Lucid dreaming becomes easier. You need to sleep less, etc. Just everything gets better.
And I just want to point out fruit. It's so much more powerful than people realize. I mean, you know how intellectuals want everything out on paper, written
Where's the
down, and they want to
study?
intellectualize everything? You can't intellectualize human existence like fruit. You can't intellectualize that. There's just things about it that it offers to human beings that we don't even understand, okay? That we don't even understand. Medical science and research just wants to be like, oh, it has this vitamin and this mineral, but so does this. And they want to like extract everything and take away the magnificence of, life here on planet Earth. This is a little bit of a side rant. I've gotten a little bit off topic. But yeah, anyways, so we don't even know how miraculous fruit is and what it truly does for the human body. Okay, yes, but this is what we know of. Okay, it has the fruit has the glucose that we need. So we know that we are glucose creatures, and fruit is perfect. It's perfect. It is perfect, and that gives us lots of glucose. Fruit has vitamins, fruit and greens. Okay, greens, vegetables are important, and I'm talking about raw. So in their raw state, plenty.
Yeah, I'm not one of these fruit-based people who promotes fruit only indefinitely. I don't think that is ideal. I did 15 days fruit only at the beginning of the year, and at some point I just started craving greens. I just wanted lettuce, spinach. I just wanted kale. I just wanted green leafy vegetables. Even non-sweet fruit became really appetizing. Whenever I had a cucumber, I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I do think we need that balance.
Of vitamins and minerals, okay? Tons of vitamins and minerals, lots of antioxidants. This is important, guys. Fruits and vegetables have the antioxidants, which helps your cells to not oxidize, which is very important for how you feel, how you look, and your longevity, how long you're going to live. Antioxidants are so important, and that is what is in fruits and vegetables. They help so your cells don't oxidize. So, again, very important. Also, fruit, vegetables, greens. This is about being all raw. Um, it also, they're antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial. These things matter in our world. Viruses do harm people. Now, I wish they didn't, and I know with everything we've all been through in recent years, nobody.
Yeah, the main benefit with doing a diet that's based on fruits and greens is that it doesn't encumber the system. Arnold ever talks about this. Almost everything else we're eating is encumbering our lymphatic system. It's encumbering our stomach, our bowels. It's encumbering our cells, and whenever we free ourselves from that, the animal products, the processed foods, even the starches, whenever you're doing fully raw fruits and greens, low fat, then it allows your body just to have more capacity to be able to just pump and work efficiently in all realms. And Arnold ever did experiments where he was like cutting himself and being mucus free and doing all these different things, and you notice that it wasn't as painful. And then he would eat pus forming and mucus forming foods, and you would notice that there'd be more pus and it'd be more painful and things of that nature. Just trying to experiment, and a lot of people don't realize how much the foods that they're eating is also impacting the fact that they're getting colds and flus.
Wants to hear that, myself included. But the reality is if you're not a healthy individual, viruses are bad for you. They are dangerous to you. Bacteria is dangerous to you if you don't have a strong immune system. We see people get taken out by bacterial infections all the time. Elderly people, people with weak immune systems. It can even happen to young kids, vulnerable people. Bacteria is serious. Okay, it's serious. You can have sepsis and you can die. So these things actually are important, but they don't seem so serious when you get in lots of fruits and vegetables, because these things combat those things. They keep your immune system strong. So those things aren't so scary and terrifying, and they don't knock you down. Okay. So I'm not saying to be scared of those things. My point is to encourage you to eat the right things so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. That you know your immune system will be strong, and you get that by eating lots of fruits and vegetables. Now, another
Amen.
thing that's good about all raw, you don't have to cook. You don't have to cook. I think I have lots of all raw days and I just don't feel like cooking, and I love it. I don't have to cook over a stove, and I don't have to clean up, and I save myself a lot of time. A lot of time. Okay. Also, too, when I eat all raw, I feel absolutely amazing and incredible. It's
You're gonna feel the best you've ever felt in your entire life, and I don't care what anyone says. All raw, high fruit, high greens, etc., is the best you will ever feel dietary wise in your entire life. Of course, after you get past like initial sort of like detox phases and stuff like that, but there is literally no comparison. There, you will never get a feeling like that doing anything else, eating in any other way.
indescribable. Like it really is. As long as I'm eating enough calories, though, the details matter. When I'm eating sufficient calories from fruit and getting in lots of glucose, that matters. But I feel incredible. I feel so light in my body, so light in my mind. I want to dance, you know, just to music, no alcohol. I just want to dance. I feel so good. I notice that I really want to move my body more. And I
It's so hard to be depressed whenever you're doing a high carb, low fat, raw food diet. Of course, taking care of everything else, the sleep, the hydration, movement, and stuff like that, it's not a panacea. But granted that those things are sort of in check, it's really, really hard to be depressed on this lifestyle. You just feel good. Like you just want to dance and move, like she's saying.
want to exercise and I want to get outside. It makes you want to be out in nature. I just feel so much more connected spiritually. I just feel incredible. It's really hard to describe unless you've experienced it yourself. But again, that's with a lot of calories from fruit. It's very important. And when I eat high raw, I eat low fat still. That matters, okay? What else? Okay, so those are
Yeah, you don't want to fall into the camp where you think that because it's raw, it's going to be healthy. And then you end up in like the high fat raw category and just end up just having health issues.
a lot of the benefits. Oh, and also no inflammation. No inflammation. I will drop weight when I go all raw, lots of fruit. I even with how I am now, I can still lose 5 pounds, which is probably water weight, and it just drops it right off you. You get really
This happened to me as well. I went from I went from 78 kg to 74 kg, 75 kg, just from increasing my fruit and green days, not even fully raw, just 300 no 200, sorry, 274 days on fruits and greens in 2025, and my weight dropped.
lean,
Mm.
and it just yeah. If you want to lose those last pounds, going all raw with lots of fruit, still low fat, will just strip it off of you like real fast, real fast. So I think those are, a lot of the benefits. What are the downfalls of all raw? Well, there's a few. One, it's more expensive typically. Typically, it's more expensive depending on what fruit you eat. So it can be more expensive, okay? Two is it can be hard socially. If you want to go out for an event, have a barbecue, sometimes it can feel a little bit more isolating because, the reality is we do connect over food.
I think this is true to some degree, but generally speaking, people are just isolated regardless. There is loneliness epidemic. More people are more like isolated than normal, and I find that if I could do a mucusless diet for 274 days and still be able to like socialize and meet friends, etc., and head out, you can do that fully raw as well. And the advantage that she may not mention is that whenever you do a diet, like a fully raw diet, because most people, whenever they're socializing and meeting other people, they just want to be happy. They just want to be loose. They don't really care what you eat at the end of the day. They're not going to go home and be like, oh, wow, they really didn't eat that. You know what I mean? Because people want to be happy, you being energetic and vital, you have more to give because now you're going to be more passionate. You're going to be more radiant. You're going to be more magnetic. So I can see where she's coming from, but yeah, there's also advantages of being raw in social situations.
A shared food experience. We do. And I think we all still want that. We also want to connect and enjoy foods with people. And it can be a little bit more isolating, okay, for sure. It just depends on who you're surrounded by, but it can definitely be more isolating. And another thing is a lot of people restrict calories when they go all raw. They don't realize how much bulk you have to eat. And I notice a lot of people
Date smoothies. Date smoothies solves all. Date smoothies.
who do all raw really focus on greens. That's a mistake. You still need greens, but greens don't account for any calories. Like, they really don't. You shouldn't even count them. They don't count. I can eat a pound of spinach, 10 cups, that's 100 calories. There is like virtually no calories in them. Sorry, guys, my dog was barking or whining. Where was I? So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people focus on greens, and then so that right there is going to restrict your calories big time. And then they also tend to really focus on fats and protein. And so if you're eating a lot of greens and a lot of fats, I already know that you're restricting calories big time from what's the most important, and that is fruit. Okay. So that's another big one. And then I wanted to mention one other thing is some of these people, not all, but some, they get into this kind of ED orthorexia type behavior, which just to me is concerning, like breatharianism and water.
Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Every person that tries to do breatharian and is studied, like they just end up like quitting, or they just end up failing. It's like 100% failure rate, and I don't see the allure of people wanting to not eat. I have never understood this.
Fasting and intermittent fasting, and then they kind of get this purity mindset where they would rather go, if they don't have all raw, they look at any cooked food as bad. Not all, but some people, we are seeing this, and they have a purity kind of complex. Well, nothing in this world is pure, so you might as well get rid of that.
I find that if you are a real student of, say, Arnold Ehret, the transition is what matters above all else. It's all about the transition. So this is one of the things I like about Arnold Ehret and the community around Arnold Ehret. It's never like, oh, you should, you know what I mean, because they understand how tough it is to come off a lot of these foods. So, but yeah, it's all about the transition.
Nothing in this world is pure anymore, guys. It's a tainted world. This is where we're living. Nothing is pure, not even your fruit, nothing. So, don't get into that mindset of it has to be all raw, or some people would rather just starve for 3 days. Well, I don't have all raw, I'll just fast for 3 days. That's a really dumb thing to do. Not to be like rude, but it's really dumb. That's how
You never have to be in that situation as well, because no matter where you are, you can get fruit. Unless you're in like some remote place, you can get fruit.
you know that something's not right, that you've taken this too far and to an extreme, that you'd rather not eat and starve yourself of glucose, which you need and you need frequently, than just get in some steamed potatoes or something. That's a problem. That's doesn't make any sense. So you kind of get this purity complex with some of these people, and that it's just not something I want to be associated with. I mean, to think that cooked food is bad is really, really silly. It's just so silly. Now that doesn't mean I'm against all raw, though. Okay, like I just said, I feel amazing on all raw when I do lots of calories from fruit and still keep the fats low. I feel amazing, the best I ever feel. It's the truth. But is it sustainable? And also another thing, it doesn't. When you want to be emotionally satisfied, like you've been through something hard or something traumatic, and
Yeah, the more complicated the digestion process, the less energy goes towards feeling emotions and things of that nature. So a lot of people do want to numb themselves out with denser foods, starches, even animal products and stuff like that. Whenever they get emotional, a lot of raw foodists say that whenever they eat raw, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide.
when you were young and a kid and a teenager, you got to eat the cake, you got to have the ice cream, and it just in the moment made you feel good, even though it's not actually good. That's the trippy part about it. So all raw sometimes cannot be emotionally satisfied. The thing is, when you're all raw, high carb, low fat, you will be so emotionally strong, so emotionally strong.
Less anxiety, 100% for sure. Like I noticed that I feel things more, but I can handle things a bit more. It's like it's an interesting dynamic.
Especially with lots of greens. So I don't want to confuse the two. You will be emotionally strong, but I think you know what I mean. When you just want to be emotionally satisfied, you just had a hard day and you just want to eat, like, back in the day, be ice cream or a burger, and it doesn't have that effect. And I think the way people on
And what she's also describing is something I've noticed is that every bit of cooked food you eat, I'm not saying all cooked foods are bad or whatever, but every bit of cooked food you eat, well, from my experience, has this subtle like stimulating effect. Okay, not obviously like not like crack cocaine, but there's a subtle something. There's something. And whenever you do all raw, you're kind of chasing that, like the first couple of days, you're kind of chasing that, like that thing. And then whenever you accept that you're not going to get it, even though you're enjoying the food, etc., the next thought is, okay, how do I just make my life good? Because I'm not going to get this thing that I'm chasing from cooked foods. And this is why I think that being all raw, if someone does it long enough, especially high fat, low fat, it can start auto correcting your life because you just start looking at other areas where you can get passion and joy from instead of it being this chase for this subtle somethingness.
raw get emotionally satisfied, in the way I'm speaking of, is by eating a salad with a high protein dressing, or they'll make a high fat dessert. That's what will satisfy them. But it's very detrimental to the health, the high fat. It's very detrimental. So those are the problems with all raw. Now, raw till 4, the benefits. Well, to me, there's just so many. You get all the benefits of eating still tons of fruit, lots of veg in their raw state. You get all those benefits that I talked about previously. And then at night, like I said, you have this, instead of eating, trying to compensate with fats on all raw, which some people do, you get to just have a high carb, low fat meal. So you actually get in more glucose typically than someone who does all raw.
The funny thing is, people just skip over the stage where you can eat like super high fruit, etc., and have a salad with steamed greens or cooked fruits. That is a level, but a lot of people think it's just like one or the other. You're either eating starches and rice and pasta, or you're eating all raw.
You get in more glucose, which is better, right? You get to have more variety, more flexibility. Like when you're going out with friends or to a barbecue, there's more flexibility there, more variety. And like I said, a thing of like uh, cooked fries with no oil is emotionally satisfying. You know what I mean, right? Like it just satisfies you emotionally. And there's something to be said for that. We live in a hard world, very tough world, and there's a lot going on, and sometimes we just want that emotional satisfaction, and that's okay. It's still in a healthy form. That's the thing. Just because it's cooked doesn't make it bad. It's still, the point is that you're getting in tons of glucose. Potatoes have tons of nutrients, okay, vitamins, minerals, okay, and you get in all that glucose. So um, but you're emotionally satisfied, and you've kept it low fat, because the high fat is detrimental.
Yeah, hands down, doing raw to 4 is probably one of the best transitions for like the whole planet. Like the whole planet. If the whole planet could do raw till 4 and then systematically transition to eating sort of like more like raw days or mucus free days, that's a great place. Because a lot of people can't just jump into fully raw indefinitely and just maintain that forever.
to your health. So another thing is too, it cuts down on the cost of your overall food bill, because a big bag of potatoes, sometimes I can still get a big bag, 20 pounds, for $7. That's a good deal. And of course, rice, it's even more economical. Um, but yeah, so you cut down on your grocery bill, more flexibility. You get to be emotionally satisfied with that cooked meal. You get to have more diversity and something to look forward to after having, um, fruit all day. When you're all raw, I feel like people want to have a salad, right? To have different from fruit. Whereas we're eating fruit all day, you want to have like a cooked carb heavy meal like rice or potatoes, and that's kind of the equivalent. But with all raw, people will have that salad with tons of fat. I know I want to. When I want to have a salad, I want to have a fatty dressing on top. It's like impossible for me not to.
Yeah, I find it's just a search for denser calories because whenever I make a sauce with dates, tomatoes, etc., and lemon juice, and I pour it over a salad, I still get that hit without fatting out because I don't eat over fats.
Don't ask me why, but it's just true. Um, so yeah, so high raw is still amazing. Now, what are the downsides? The downsides are, you know, you're you're not getting in as many fruits and vegetables that have, like, if you were to compare fruit to rice, fruit without a doubt has more vitamins and minerals. It has hydration, okay? It has antioxidants. These things are important. They're antiviral, antibacterial. Rice is not antiviral, antibacterial, and so those little things matter. Um, and it doesn't have the living water. I mean, of course, you cook rice, you add rice to it, or water to it, I mean. And another downfall is that you have to cook. You got to cook, you got to put that effort in, you got to dirty more dishes, more to clean up. And that cooked food can be more dehydrating, right? So you have to compensate with having more water because it can be more dehydrating. Some people will complain of, really slowing down the digestion compared to.
Yeah, starches in the evening, especially if you're eating lots of rice, it just slows down the digestion. And anybody who's done fully raw, mucus free, or even just lived on mainly potatoes as their main starch and then switched to rice, they will see a slower bowel transit time. They'll feel way more acidic, way more inflamed. They'll have way more aches and pains, and even back pains and stuff like that. Just because anytime you add acidic substances to the body that is constipating you to some degree, or even slowing down your elimination process, you are going to be stagnating the lymph, and you're going to be stagnating the whole pipe system going through your body. And this is why people report feeling more aches and pains the more grains that they eat whenever they've experienced what it's like and what their body functions like on fruits and greens. So
Eating all fruit, which just, the digestion is insane. I should have pointed that out on all raw. The digestion is insane. It's efficient. It's fast. And that's what you want. It is what you want. This slow digestion crap is a lie. When things slowly digest, you have a chance for things to ferment, rot, and putrefy. And you end up with rotting protein and fats along the linings, mucus. I'm not saying that rice is mucus forming. I'm just saying that these.
oh, from my experience, rice is mucus forming for sure. For sure. Like even whenever I was vegan, eating tons of rice, I would go through tons of periods where I'm just still producing mucus and stuff like that. And it's not until I did 274 days mucus free on the fruits and starches, vegetables, and having 3.5 months on just fruits and greens that I started to realize, well, this is just dramatically reduced or even virtually gone. Like what? And then I eat rice again, and then the next day eat potatoes again, and the next day I'm like running noses, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this was connected this whole time.
things get in the linings. Whereas with all fruit, high carb, low fat fruit, that does not happen. So I just want to point that out. So there is, some few downfalls. Okay, just comparing, let's say, to rice, right? So you got to cook, you got to clean up. It's a little bit more dehydrating, can be a little bit not as good of digestion for some people. They'll even say it's kind of constipating, and maybe it is if you're used to having all fruit. For sure, there will be a difference. Um, but what else? What else are the downfalls? I mean, there's not many, guys. There's not really many, okay? And what I love, and do I have a preference? Listen, I don't really have a preference. What I love is that I get to oscillate between the two whenever I feel like it. I don't have any hard and fast rules. I'm not a purist. I'm not going to starve myself to not eat some steamed potatoes. Um, so I oscillate between the two, and I get the benefits of both. If I feel like maybe I have a little bit too much, and also to cooked food, people tend to want to add salt to. I just want to point that out, as opposed to fruit.
Eating rice without salt is like a challenge. I did not like rice without salt. I did not like rice without soy sauce or sweet chili or something added to it. I would rather eat potatoes. I would just rather eat potatoes. If you said you can have rice but without soy sauce or salt or all these different things added to it, I just wouldn't want it. I just wouldn't want it.
I've never added salt to fruit, but people want to tend to add salt to cook food, so you can have that puffiness in the face, a little bit more dehydration. Just want to point that out. Um, but and also too, people can be a little bit heavier when they add in cooked food, maybe some cooked grains. Some people have complained about that, myself included. When I go all fruit, I can lose up to 5 pounds of water weight, um, for sure. But so yeah, like I said, I get to just oscillate between the two. If I go through a period where I maybe had a lot of cooked food for dinner, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I just kind of want to go all raw and have just fruit, just to kind of,
Yeah, you feel stodgy. You feel a bit like ooh, too much starch.
cleanse a little bit, kind of get my energy up even more. Um, I'll do that, and I like oscillating between the two. I really do. I love that freedom that I
Yeah, and this is one of the key secrets to transitioning. Because what I did was 50 days total in a year, fully raw, high carb, low fat. And then the year after that, I did 100. And then the year after that, I did like 172. And then the year after that, which was last year, 274. And then this year, I'm going for 310 days. And every step of the way, every year that went by, it was easier and easier and easier to do because it was very progressive. Initially, the idea of doing one fully raw day per week and still eating all the potatoes and rice and beans and stuff in the evening the first year, I was like, yeah, I could do that. That's easy. And there was some times where it was a bit of a challenge, but like I could hit that mark easy. Anyone can hit that mark. Especially if you're experienced doing raw to four, you can hit that mark. So I like what she's doing here, oscillating back and forth. I think that's one of the best ways to get the body used to a fruit and green based diet without the starches, without the animal products, etc.
can go with bouts of all raw, or I can start, having a cooked meal, and I just feel so much freedom in that. And you don't end up with this purist mindset, and there's more flexibility, which I think is important in this modern world for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I think I covered everything. I also want to point out, when I do all raw, like all raw, again, high carb, low fat, sufficient calories, I have no pain in my body at all, like no stiffness. I can work
Exactly
out,
what
I
I was
can lift
saying.
weights every day, and I really don't have sore muscles. Now, if I was to add rice and have it for every dinner meal for a week, I might notice a little bit of a difference. A little bit of a difference. It's not quite as, like good as fruit is for
I
that,
notice it.
and like your body being super flexible.
As someone who works out, I just don't know how people. This is why sometimes when people downplay the benefits of raw, you're just not telling people the truth, and you just haven't experienced it to just really understand that a lot of these aches and pains that you're getting is because of your diet. Oh
I just
man.
Fruit is superior in my opinion, but that doesn't mean that you have to eat it 24/7, and that other foods still aren't good. Like that other no other food is good for you. Okay, and that's the mindset I think people need to get away from. Okay, and yeah. So for me, they both win. They're both way superior than starch solution. Way superior. I can't even imagine
Shots fired. Shots fired. No, but it is true. It's true. It is true.
starting my day off with like cooked food, cooked oatmeal. I would never have the same energy return. like the same mood return. Like they don't even, it's not even worth mentioning in my opinion. But it's important. The thing is, though, guys, above all else, it's important to get in hydration, and it's important to eat high carb, low fat foods. I just want to point
100%.
that out. Even though I'm not a fan of starch solution, it's still better to get in oatmeal with brown sugar and cinnamon than it is to get in avocado vegan toast.
Yeah, if you're gonna do starch solution, I recommend do like the Mary's Mealy McDougal style and focus on either potatoes and sweet potatoes, or rice and like lots of vegetables and salads and stuff like that included. Um, just because they're just gonna digest a lot better in comparison to like doing like heavy oatmeal for breakfast and stuff like that. But ideally, of those two, potatoes, sweet potatoes for sure, like the Okinawans.
Right? So I just want to point that out, that at the end of the day, what matters the most is getting in high carb, low fat foods and getting in hydration, no matter what you're eating. Okay. It always needs to be high carb, low fat over a high fat. Like, like avocado is a raw food. What do I think oatmeal is better than having a whole avocado for breakfast? Yes, I do. So I just want to point that out, though. Anyways, they're both amazing, amazing guys, and I just think that you should oscillate between the two. Go through periods of both. That's the beautiful thing about it. And yeah, but that's my video for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back again for another video.
Awesome video. Check out Sweet Like Sugar on YouTube. And if you want a free 7-day meal plan, high carb, low fat, fruit based, to get you kickstarted on your weight loss journey, check out the link in the description section below. I also have a free school community, so jump on in there, and yeah, let's crush it.
Thanks, guys. Bye.